Hey, what's up, y'all? And yeah, we're back with another preview and prediction video. And today we're going to do the Tennessee Volunteers. And I do have a Tennessee man, a TriStar, here with me to talk some Tennessee football.
Oh, thanks for having me, Vic. How you doing today on this beautiful day?
Good.
Well, that's good. But yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. I think Tennessee's got a chance to really take that next step this year. They've got a great team. Obviously questions on the secondary. That's been every year under Heupel so far. But I mean, I really like the guys that they have in the secondary. It's just they're young and inexperienced, but they're very
Yep.
talented. They're just young.
Yep. Just young. Yep. All right. So anyway, of course, I do have Nico.
Iamale,
Iamaliava. Yep,
you
Joe
said it
Milton is
right.
gone. Yep, Joe Milton is gone. So y'all got it's time for the Nico era to
Yep.
begin. So was a 5-star quarterback, and y'all paid good money for him too. So
Yeah, but we just remember we were not the only one offering him a ridiculous amount of money. Alabama was, Oregon was, USC
yep,
was.
yep, yep,
Everybody was wanting to get Nico, and he just felt like Heupel's system fit him.
yep. All right. So anyway, so let's see. I need to share the screen. Oops. All right, there we go. Uh, yeah. So let's take a look at recap your season from last year. Of course, last year you did go 8-4 at 9-4 with a bowl win. You beat Iowa in the bowl game. You shut him out 35-0, and actually Nico made his first start in that game. So yeah, with Joe
Right,
Milton sitting out the bowl game. So
right. And, people were saying, well, he didn't throw for 400 yards. Well, he didn't have to. He took what the defense gave him, and that's one thing I liked. I was not really I was not really looking at, was he going to throw for 500 yards? I don't care about that. I just want to see his pocket presence. I want to see if he looked poised, if he looked nervous, because Iowa, yeah, we give them a lot of crap for their offense, and yes, their offense is worse than a lot of
yep,
Pee Wee football teams, but
yep,
they have a playoff level defense. They usually every year have one of the best defenses in the nation. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good test to see kind of where he's at. And they didn't hold back. I mean, they got to him a couple of times, but generally overall, he was very poised. He looked like he could run the offense. He looked good. There was nothing that made me have concerns. And people's look at like how Jackson Arnold played in his bowl game. Now the difference was Jackson Arnold's offensive line by that point was totally gone, and he had a bad game. But I still think with Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold is going to be a great quarterback for them because coming out of that 23 class, the top two quarterbacks in my opinion in order were Nico and Jackson Arnold. And the only reason I put Nico ahead of Jackson Arnold is I think Nico is more athletic.
yeah. So anyway, so now you did have games that you lost to or to Florida. And you went
Right?
down to Gainesville
Gainesville.
and got beat again. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we were down Cooper Mays in that game. He was injured, and we had a brand new center starting in that one, and they were up for that one. And I'm not really going to blame Heupel on that one completely because of the fact that you can just go look at since 1990 we have always struggled with Florida no matter how good we are or how bad they are. For some reason, they just play us really tough and play us well. Like they'll have their best game against us. Because if you remember, the very next week they go to Kentucky and got absolutely destroyed. That running back for Kentucky had what, like 4 touchdowns?
yep,
And plus, I just think that playing in the swamp is a very tough place to play. And people want to talk about, well, Heupel's not really done it on the road. He's not great on the road and stuff. I mean, he went to LSU in 2022 and blew them out. I mean, I don't
Yep,
think
he
it's
did.
I wouldn't necessarily say he just can't win on the road. If that's the case, he wouldn't have won at LSU.
Yep.
And I mean, then you look the next game at Alabama. We were
Yeah,
ahead by two
Alabama. Yeah.
possessions. We were ahead by two possessions going into halftime. I thought we were going to win that game going in
Yeah, yeah,
after
me
halftime.
too. Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's when Alabama finally kind of woke up for the rest of the season. And I mean, Milroe turned it on and they let it drive. I mean, you can blame Joe Milton, but I mean, I would more put the blame on the fact the defense couldn't stop a runny nose in the second half, even though they've been holding them all first half. Then your third loss is at Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri, I mean,
Mizzou.
heck,
You just got
Missouri almost beat
clobbered.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, heck, Missouri almost beat Georgia.
Yeah, they did.
So
Yeah, yeah, Mizzou was a good team last year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Missouri was a good team last year, and it was in Columbia. And I think whenever we lost to Alabama and how we did, and the fact that we didn't have Brew anymore was kind of that leader in the wide receiver room. I think that kind of just killed all the momentum.
Yep. Yeah, and then
And
of
then and
course
then
getting
obviously got
curb
Georgia at the end
stomped
of the year.
by Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
38-10. Yeah.
I would argue if that game was played more in the middle of the season, that game probably if say Brew didn't get injured and it was middle of the season, I think that's a closer game.
Yeah, yeah, that's more competitive. Yeah.
But I think by that point Georgia was hitting their stride and they were looking great. I mean, again, it's hard to stop a
Yep.
guy like Brock Bowers
Yep. Y'all scored a touchdown
on the
on
first
y'all's
play.
first play. Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, come on, let's go. And then the rest of the game happened. So, I mean,
Yep.
I'm not going to sit here and talk about, oh, I mean, Tennessee was horrible. I mean, most Tennessee fans knew that last year, after what Hendon and Jalen did in 22, was going to be a little bit of a come down year, a little bit of a transition year into the Nico era and what we got. Like, there were moments where I think we could have been almost as good as 22, but it's just we couldn't hit. But it's okay. I'm not mad about it. We had to have a little bit of, I think, a come down season. And
Yeah.
to me, the only, I guess you could say, really bad loss was that loss at Florida. I mean, you can blame Joe Milton for that one, but Joe Milton was not the one that gave up 3 touchdowns in the second quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, let's blame let's blame Joe Milton. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
giving up 3 Florida touchdowns in the second quarter.
Yeah, see,
No, I just think
I mean Joe Milton was a downgrade from Hendon Hooker, let's just be honest.
right. Yeah, he was, and I had hopes for him because I mean I'll admit it. After watching him do what he did against Clemson in that Orange Bowl, I started buying into the Joe hype a little bit. I was like, okay, he has progressed. He's gotten better, and there were times like the first half of that Alabama game, he was slinging it. I mean, he looked good, and it's like he would show flashes. He just couldn't put it all together. And I think Heupel got about as much as anybody was going to get out of Joe Milton. And people's like, well, why didn't you just throw Nico in there? Yeah, why throw a true freshman in there at Alabama? Let him sit a year, learn the system.
Yeah, let him sit and learn. Yeah.
And then by the time he does come in and he's ready, I mean, like when he got out there against Iowa, I mean, he didn't look like a freshman. I mean, were there a couple of mistakes? Yeah, but I mean, heck, there were times where Hendon Hooker made mistakes. There's been times when Patrick Mahomes has made mistakes. I mean,
Yep.
no quarterback's perfect. I mean, But like I said, I'm very excited what we got going on. The only area I have questioned, obviously, is the secondary. I'm not worried about wide
Yeah,
receivers. I know everybody's talking about our running backs. Uh, they're young,
yeah.
but they're very talented. Our starting running back this year is going to be Dylan Sampson. We tend to do running back by committee. Like we usually run about 3 running backs
Oh,
in a game. So you're pretty much your three in order is going to be Dylan Sampson, Cam Selden, and Peyton Lewis. Peyton Lewis is a true freshman out of Virginia. That dude is a grown man.
yeah. So anyway, so let's take a look at Joe Milton's stats. He was 22 out of 354. That's 64.7%. 2,813 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 7.9 yards per attempt, and he got sacked 16 times at a passer rating 157.3, and then rushing yards 78 carries, 299 for 7 touchdowns, 3.8 per carry. Yeah, but his longest run was 81 yards though. So okay, now you did mention your running back room. If I can get that to go away. No. All right, there. There we go. So there's Jalen Wright. He did have 137 carries for 1,013 yards and 7.4 yards per carry. Wow, that's really good. And 4 touchdowns. But of course, he is now a Dolphin. And then Jabari Small is also gone to the Titans. Yeah. He's gone to your Titans. Yeah, yeah, are you a Titans fan,
No, I'm no
TriStar?
Falcons.
No. Oh, you're a Falcons fan like me. Okay.
Yep. Because you got to
Yep.
think, growing up in Polk County, Tennessee, on the Georgia border, I mean, I'm closer to Atlanta than I am to Nashville.
Yeah. So anyway, so then Small at 95 carries, 475 yards, 5 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Now, but who you do bring back is Dylan
Dylan Sampson.
Sampson.
Yep,
And he
Dylan
did
Sampson.
have 106 carries, 604 yards, 5.7 per carry, and 7 touchdowns. So obviously you're looking at Sampson as
Your RB1.
RB1. So
Yep.
yeah,
And that's the thing. Like, I really like what he reminds me of Alvin Kamara almost. Like
yeah. He's
he's a very
5'11",
shifty.
190.
He's a very shifty kind of running back, but he's also great in the pass game, like Kamara.
Yep. And it looks like you also have Cameron Seldon. You do bring
Cam
him back.
Selden.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
Cam
big back.
Selden.
He's
Yeah,
6'2",
and
222. Yep.
he kind of reminds me a little bit of Jalen Hurd a little bit because of his
Yeah.
size,
Built
but
like him. Yep.
he's faster than Jalen Hurd.
Yeah. So he was just a freshman last year. 25 carries, 106 yards, 4.2 per carry.
Yeah, you didn't see a lot of him last year
Nope, but
because
he'll get a lot more carries this year.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, now we can look at your wide receivers. Yeah, Ramel Keaton is back. You bring back Squirrel White, Deontay Thornton, Brew McCoy, and Chaz Nimrod. So, and then Brew McCoy broke his leg last year, right?
Yep.
In the South Carolina game. Yep.
And now I think it's kind of where our season kind of went downhill.
Yep. Yep. Brew. Yep. And Squirrel. Yep. And Nimrod. Yeah, but you lose your tight ends like you had McAllen Castles and Jacob Warren left to go to the NFL. So
Right. But
yeah,
I like what we
what are y'all
got.
gonna do about? So what are y'all gonna do about tight ends?
I'd have to look at the depth chart to be specific, but I feel like we'll be okay with what we got.
All right. Okay. Now I guess we can look at your defense. I guess you did mention the secondary earlier. Obviously, Jalen,
Jalen,
McCullough at safety, and Gabe, Judy
Gabe Judy
Lawley, your
Lawley.
cornerback, uh, are both gone. But I mean, other than that, that's about all you lose on the defense, pretty much. So
Right. And I feel very good about our linebackers and our D line.
you got Elijah Herring was your leading tackler, and you bring back Aaron Beasley. So
Actually, I think Elijah Herring transferred.
Elijah Herring transferred. Okay.
I think. I'd have to
All right.
check, but I
Anyway,
think he.
yeah,
I think he.
we'll look. We'll look at your recruiting class and your transfer portal in a little bit. But you know about your. I mean, you do bring back Wesley Walker and Wesley Walker and Tamari and
Mary McDonald.
McDonald. So
To Mary
uh,
McDonald.
Danico Slaughter. Yeah, yeah. Yes, you
Those
good.
guys, pretty much all the secondary except for the young guys transferred out. To Mary McDonald, I think he's at Louisville now. I think Nico. Like I said, there's so many left. I'd have to go look at specifically who
And then
left
we
for
got
state. James Pierce,
and then
my
we
man.
got James Pierce had 9.5 sacks as a defensive end. So
Yes, James Pierce might be the best defensive lineman in the nation this year.
yep.
James Pierce, he's a man among men.
Then you bring back speaking of a man among men, it's like Omari
There you
Thomas is a
go.
man among men. He's
There you
6'2",
go.
320.
Yeah,
Big
big
O.
man up the middle. This is the best I've felt in a long time about our defensive line.
Yep, you also bring back let's see.
Tyler
Tyler
Barron, he's
Tyler Barron had 6 sacks.
he's at Louisville now. He's transferred to like Fort. No. He's at Miami.
How many different school has he been? Let's say he's only been at. Okay, he transferred to
He
Miami. Well, that
yeah
sucks.
well, not really because he got those 6 sacks against like the small schools. When we played
Okay.
like bigger schools like Alabama or Georgia or Florida or something, he didn't show up. So
Yeah, there's Bryson Eason, you have another big guy, 6'3", 310. So you got Omar Norman Lott.
Omar Norman Lott, yeah. And we got David Hobbs. He's going to be starting interior for
Hobbs. Yeah,
us.
there's
David
Hobbs.
Hobbs.
Yep,
Yep.
6'4", 290.
He was a 5-star coming out of high school.
Hobbs. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I guess we can go ahead and take a look at your at that recruiting now. Yeah, you did sign the number 14 recruiting class, so yeah, so you did get a 5-star edge, Jordan Ross.
And Jordan
Yeah.
Ross, don't be surprised if he's playing this year.
Well, I mean, he's a 5-star, so I mean, he's supposed to be ready to play right away. So Okay, so anyway, so are there any other freshmen that you're excited about?
I mean, obviously Mike Matthews and
There's
Braylon
Mike
Staley, the wide
Matthews.
receiver.
Yeah, wide receivers. Yeah,
They've been lighting it up, and one guy he's not. I got a feeling eventually he'll probably end up transferring, and nothing he did. But a guy by the name of Jake Merklinger coming through camp, they were like,
yeah,
"How is
there he
this?"
is. Yeah,
They were saying like, "How is this kid not a 5 star?"
he's a quarterback. Yep.
Yeah, he's out of I think Savannah.
Savannah. Yep, Savannah, Georgia. Yep. Yep.
I think he's going to be really good.
All your 3 stars. Yep. Let's see. And that's about it for the. That's about it for the 4 stars. Yeah. So. Yeah, the rest of them are 3 stars, but I mean they got 5-star hearts though, right?
All right, I'm back. I apologize. See, that's the thing. Like we're doing this right in the middle, like after me getting loaded and
Yeah, I
having
know.
to check out and all that stuff. So if you hear
What?
me just go quiet or something, just know I'm not ignoring you. I'm a very busy man.
Right. That's okay. I was seeing all these 3 stars, and I was making a joke about how I guess they have 5-star hearts.
Um, well, again, our recruiting is getting better. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I mean, this is not a bad recruiting class. I mean, a
no,
lot of
no,
teams.
and there's
I mean,
guys
a
I
lot
really
of
like.
teams would trade places with you. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. You know, with how you got the portal now, and you've got like, uh, with how things are now, I think as long as you're recruiting at least top 15, you're going to be competitive every year.
Yeah, he was doing
And,
pretty good.
and you go pick and choose out of the portal. Like, yeah, we didn't go get a lot of guys out of the portal because we didn't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like we're like Clemson where we just refuse to use the portal. Like we're,
Yeah.
and plus too,
Yeah.
like they don't want a bunch of guys in there that what Heupel tries to do. He tries to get the best fit. He don't want to do like Dion and just bring in every transfer from around the
Right.
world, and he
Right.
don't want to. He wants what's going to fit, what's going to gel the most, because
Right.
that's what makes the most cohesive team. And besides,
Yeah.
I mean, heck, look at Lad McConkey. Lad McConkey coming out of North
Was a
Murray High School.
3-star. Yeah.
His best offer. Hold on a second.
Yes. Anyway, so and then in 2023, you had the number 10 recruiting class, and then in 2022, it was 17. So yes, that's been Heupel's recruiting. So he's been 17, 10, 14.
Right.
Yes, we won't really. Yeah.
And
Yep.
like I said, I think this upcoming class will be top 10.
Yep.
But I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
let's not
Heupel's.
forget.
Yeah.
I know it's about Tennessee, but let's not forget. Like with how Alabama fans right now in the middle of June are like, oh look, Kalen DeBoer can recruit. He's got the number 3 class right now. I'm like, do you not remember Florida having the number 2 class this time last year? They
Yeah.
finished like what 20th.
Yep. So now we got Alabama's June recruiting champions. Okay, and I guess we can. Tennessee's offense did. Last year they had the number 36 scoring offense with 31.8 points per game.
Right.
Yeah, obviously want to see that number
Yeah,
go up,
yeah,
which I think it will. So
yeah. I think it will too, just because I think there's going to be more cohesion this year over last year. I think it's just going to look more
dang it,
fluid.
got what? Yeah, I forgot to look at. Hold on, we gotta go back. Yeah, forgot about doing the transfer. Yeah, looking at your transfer portal. I guess we'll take a look at who
The one that
you
stands out is Chris Brazil.
right.
He's
Well,
going
I
to be
was
really
gonna
good.
start with right. Well, I was gonna start with your outgoing transfers. We did have Elijah Herring, who we mentioned earlier. He transferred to Memphis. Why? I mean, why are you gonna leave Tennessee, leave the SEC to go to Memphis? That makes no sense. I'm I'm I mean, that makes no sense. And then Wesley Walker and Tyrion McDonald are leaving, and Nico Slaughter. Yeah. Now I see why you're worried about the secondary. Yes, I guess I would be too. Wesley Walker, Ray McDonald, Nico Slaughter. All right, and that's about it for your outgoing. So yeah, you're right. The secondary is a big concern. I think that the defense, I mean, the front seven is going to be really good. But all right, all right. So hopefully, TriStar will be back soon.
Okay, I'm back. I do apologize.
Anyway, so yeah, I guess we talk about offensive players first. So you did get Chris Brazel, yeah, from Tulane. Yeah, he was the leading uh, receiver at Tulane. So,
Yes.
and then let's see, you did get Holden Stays, yep, a tight end from Notre Dame.
Right.
It's yeah, he's a 4-star. Yeah, he was also 4-star coming out of high school too. So yeah, so I guess he's pretty good. Yeah, you needed help at tight end. So see anyone else we're talking? Oh yeah, you did get a tight end from Alabama, Miles Kitselman. And then looks like I also got a wide receiver from East Tennessee State. Yeah, this Tommy Winston. Do you know anything about him?
Uh, Not off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I guess he must have been good at ETSU, but
Right.
usually you don't get as much credit for what you did as an FCS player. So
Right.
uh,
Right.
yeah, you did get an offensive tackle Lance Hurd from
LSU.
LSU. Maybe 6'6", 340. Wow. All right. Anyway, just gonna talk about defensive transfers now. You did get Jermod McCoy, a 4-star corner from Oregon State. Yeah, that's a big pickup. So you did get a safety, Jacoby Thomas from Middle Tennessee. Another cornerback, you got Jalen McMurray from Temple. You got defensive lineman Jackson Moy from Stanford. But again, and it looks like you didn't get any linebackers. All right, but anyway, it's like I said, 31.8 points per game, which is good for number 36th in the nation.
Right.
Yeah, which, like I said, that number needs to improve, and I think it will improve significantly. So
I think we'll too.
let's see. Let's talk about rushing offense. We actually had the 9th ranked rushing offense with 2,663 total rush yards on 489 carries to get 5.45 yards and 204.8 per game. So
Right.
yeah. So your running game was actually really good, but
Yep, and I think it will be just as good.
Yep. Yeah, I'm surprised that y'all didn't pick up any running backs in the portal.
Well, I think what it is because we're pretty deep at running back. We got those three, and then you got Khalifa Keith. He's our 4th string. I really like him too. Unfortunately, I think he'll probably end up transferring eventually, just out of not getting playing time. But
Okay, passing offense.
obviously, we're not returning much of that because Milton's gone.
Here we go. You actually had the 50th ranked passing offense. Did have 243.2 per game, 7.7 per attempt.
Right.
Let's see. Now we got to take a look at defense next. Here's scoring defense. I mean, that's total defense. Now I want scoring defense. Okay.
Like I said, our defense last year, I thought took a pretty good step forward. I mean, yeah, obviously it wasn't Georgia, but compared to what it was the first 2 years, I think it's going to get even better.
Gotten better. Yeah, it's definitely gotten better. Yeah, the number 22 ranked scoring defense, only allowing 20.3 points per game.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, my thing is I think what Heupel inherited after the whole, not just the Jeremy Pruitt years, but the Bush Jones and Derek Dooley years, and just all the incompetence in the athletic department.
Yep, Butch Jones.
Yeah, champions of life, 5-star hearts. People ask me all the time. Out of the 3 years, we affectionately call them the Three Stooges. Out of those three, who do you hate the most? And I always say, without question, because my cousin's husband played for him, Bush Jones.
So the Three Stooges being Derek Dooley, Butch Jones, and Jeremy Pruitt?
Yes. We had horrible ADs. And yes, having a good AD matters. He's the one that hired.
Well, I mean, Philip Fulmer was. Well, I mean,
Well, I
Phil
can
Fulmer
tell you
was
the
your
whole story
AD.
on that,
Yeah.
but that would take like 5 episodes. But let's just say Philip Fulmer is one of the biggest snakes you'll ever meet in your life. Let's just say
Oh
that. And
yes.
the
Oh
fact
yes.
that he's still
So I've heard. Yeah.
after all the crap he pulled, Pruitt, why he's still people love him showing his face around campus. It still boggles my mind. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, when I was a kid, he was the head coach and he won a national title with T. Martin and all that stuff. And yeah, he was great. But you gotta call it like you see it. He was a snake and he screwed people over, and he continued to do it once he became the AD.
Yeah. So anyway, so you had the 19th. Yeah, tied with South Alabama. Rushing defense just 113.7 per game allowed, 3.19 per carry.
Yeah, if it was not for the Missouri and Florida game, we probably have been way higher than that. But we had a couple of games where we didn't do great. And what's funny, the guy that went off with us is now with you, Trevor Etienne. Trevor Etienne.
Yep. Now let's see. Passing yards allowed. I'm gonna have to go to the second page. There you go. 64th passing defense, 222.5 allowed per game. 6.9 yards per attempt. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Like
So
I said,
anyway,
I mean, to be honest, like most of those guys were still Pruitt guys. Those are like the few Pruitt guys that were left, and I'm kind of glad they're gone.
All right. Anyway, so you ready to look at the schedule now?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get into it. All right. So now, first you have Chattanooga. Obviously, that's an easy win. You should just completely demolish them.
And listen,
warm-up
I have nothing
game.
against. I have nothing against the fine people of Chattanooga. You know, that's my home area. You know, I know UTC very well. I know so many people with school there that become teachers. They have a great education program. If you ever wanted to become a teacher, but you know, yeah, that game. Listen, it's not 1957 anymore. It's not happening.
No.
If you don't know, yes, back in the mid 50s, UTC actually beat Tennessee at Newton.
Wow.
I'm just
Anyway.
Look that up.
Anyway, so next you've got a neutral site game against NC State. So what do you think about this one?
North Carolina State, they got Grayson McCall out of the transfer portal, quarterback from Coastal Carolina. I think that North Carolina State is kind of my potential dark horse in the ACC.
Yep.
Because what's the head coach's name? Was Dave Dorn?
Yep, Dave Dorn. Yep.
I think he's a good coach. I think he'll have his boys ready, but I just think it's one of those like he'll be close for about a half or 2.5 quarters, and then I think Tennessee kind of pulls away at the end.
Yes.
Like yes, I think we win something like a 38-24. I could see something like that.
Yes, y'all should beat NC State. Yes, they may be a dark horse to win in the ACC, but you're a dark horse in the SEC. So yeah, that's a win. And then next up, we do have Kent State Golden Flashes, and same thing as Chattanooga. That should be an easy win.
That should be, but wasn't it a couple years ago they came up down there to Sanford and gave Georgia fits for about 3 quarters?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did for about 3 quarters. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the Golden Flashers, or whatever their name is, who knows? Maybe they show up. They'll show up for about a quarter. And, you know, probably most of the crowd will be gone by.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Kent State Golden Showers. Yeah.
All right, and then the game really determined 2 team seasons.
At Oklahoma Sooners. Yep.
the first installment of the SEC Big 8 Challenge.
Yep.
Tennessee at Oklahoma. Obviously, this game's is going to have so many storylines. Uh, it's Oklahoma's first game in the SEC. It's
Yep.
also Josh Heupel's return to Norman after he
Yep.
got
That's right.
fired by Bob Stoops after the 2014 season.
Right when he's
And
the quarterback at Oklahoma when they won the Natty in
he's
2000.
yes, he was their last quarterback to win a national championship. And from what I've heard, Heupel really wants that game probably more than any of them this year.
Yep.
And here's the thing, from what I can tell, he doesn't hate OU. He doesn't hate the fans or the university itself. It's mainly
No.
Bob Stoops that he's got the problem with.
Well, Bob Stoops retired now, so.
But I got a feeling Saban's going to kind of do the same thing as Bob Stoops has been
Yep.
doing at Oklahoma.
Yep.
Like he's going to be retired, but he's still going to have
roaming the
presence.
sidelines. Yep, still roaming the sideline. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I got a feeling, and my thing is, the question in that game is going to be how protected is Jackson Arnold, because Oklahoma is going to have a brand new offensive line. All 5 offensive linemen are new starters.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's what I keep hearing about Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, so Oklahoma is a major question mark. Their defense should be pretty good because it's Brent Venables when we did at Clemson. But
yeah, their defense should be better.
I'm going to say just because it's in Norman, I'm going to say Tennessee wins like 38-35. I think the crowd keeps them in it for a little bit, but I think Tennessee pulls it out here. But I'm going to say it would not shock me if we lost that game.
Yeah, so we're going to call it a win or a loss?
I'm going to call it a win for now because I just think Tennessee right now is a much better team.
Right. Well, yeah, even though I do think you're probably the better team, I think I do see Oklahoma. You just have a feeling that Oklahoma pulls off the upset at home, but then, but don't worry. Yeah, you'll see why in a little bit. But anyway, at Arkansas, I think that's going to be a win. I think Arkansas is going to be terrible this year. So,
I hate that.
KJ Jefferson.
I hate that.
Yes. Rocket Sanders.
I hate that for Sam Pittman because I love Sam Pittman. He was our offensive line coach back, I want to say, like in 2012, 2013. He had our offensive line on point. I know he did y'all as well down there in
Georgia.
Athens.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think probably after this year, he's probably going to end up being retired.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's not a young guy, but yeah, I think we handle business in Fayetteville.
Yep. I think so. He might just decide to just take the buyout and ride off into the sunset. Yeah. But anyway, next up you do have Florida. You get Florida coming to Knoxville. You did lose last time you played them, but that was in Gainesville. But the last time you played in Knoxville, you won. So.
Right. Yeah. The last time we played in Knoxville,
but it was close. It was close.
Now here's the thing, though, that score is a little deceiving. Tennessee was in control for like 52 of that 60 minutes.
Let Florida get back in the game.
But we got too conservative too early, and we kind of allowed them to come back, and then you had them recover the onside kick, and it again, I'll never forget it. I was sitting there at my dad's house watching that game, and we was up by 17 with 8 minutes left. I was telling my dad, I was like, Dad, this is over. He said, I won't say my name, but he said, don't. He's like, shut up, don't say nothing.
Yep.
And then they go down and score. We get the ball, we give it back to them. three and out, they go score again. And now they're down 38-33. I said, Dad, it's okay. They're going to have to recover an onside kick. And then they recover the onside kick. And my dad just stands up and yells at me, goes, "What the hell did I tell you, son?"
Yep. Anyway, but Florida is going to be bad this year. Billy Napier has one foot
they're
out the
going to be
door.
bad and horrible, but just out of the nature of that series, I'm going to say that they somehow pull a rabbit out of their ass and they keep it close with us just because of the nature of that series. I
Okay,
think
what do
we
you
win, but I wouldn't be
Yeah, me
surprised
too.
if that one's close because of just the history of that
Yeah,
series. They
yeah,
always
me
give us
too.
their, for some reason, they never give Georgia their best game. They always give Tennessee their best game. I don't know. Because, I mean, my God, you look at how they played against Tennessee last year, you'd have thought they might have won the SEC.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't like, you know, they were fighting hard and they made the last second field goal. No, Florida was in control of that game, the jump.
All right. So next up, you got the third Saturday in October. Yep, you got Alabama coming to Knoxville. Yep, of course, this will be the first year of the Kalen DeBoer era at Adam in Alabama, and I mean Alabama did also have a bunch of players leaving, hitting the portal like Isaiah Bond and Caleb Downs. But anyway, so actually, think that y'all will pull off the win at home. Y'all did beat Alabama last time y'all played them in Neyland. So
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close one. I mean, I think right now, if you go look on, I think like FanDuel and all the sports betting sites, I think right now they don't have it as a pick 'em, but they have Alabama favored by like less than a field goal. Uh, so right now, because it's in Neyland, I'm going to go with Tennessee on that one. But my thing is, Alabama is going to hinge on how does Jalen Milroe take to the DeBoer system. If he takes to the system well, it's going to be just business as usual for this year. We'll see after this season. But if he struggles, then Alabama could have major problems this year because they've got a pretty tough schedule. I mean, and I even told Ballard this on the morning show. I said, don't sleep on that game at Wisconsin. I know I'm not saying Wisconsin is going to be good or anything, but they're going to be up for that game. And something tells me that funny stuff could happen in that game. Because if I'm not mistaken, Dick, was it not last year or 2 years ago? Wisconsin wasn't that great, and Ohio State went there ranked like 2 or 3 or something like that, heavy favorites, and dang near lost.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would not, if I'm Alabama, do not overlook that game in Wisconsin. Don't think, oh, you're just going to go in there and beat them by 30. It's not going to happen.
All right. So what do you think? Are y'all are y'all gonna beat Alabama?
I think we get them in Neyland this year in a close one.
Yep.
I think it's another great game. I think
All right. So we both have Tennessee beating Alabama. So far you've got Tennessee 7-0, and I've got them 6-1. So heading into your second bye week. After that, you have
Kentucky at home.
Kentucky, yeah, they brought in Vandagriff, quarterback from Georgia. They also got inside linebacker Jamon Dumas Johnson. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing about the Tennessee-Kentucky series. Here, I can explain it to you in a nutshell. How the game is going to go depends on where it's played. If that game was in Lexington, that'll be probably a one-possession game. But since it's in Neyland, I'm going to say Tennessee wins handily.
Yeah, me too. I'm also gonna give you the win. And then next up, we do have you play back-to-back Bulldogs. First, you got Mississippi State at home, and I think Mississippi State is going to be bad this year due to a first-year head coach
I think Mississippi State could make
Jeff
a bowl game
Lebby.
possibly.
So yeah, they could. Yeah, they could make a bowl game. Of course, after Mike Leach tragically passed away, and they ended up promoting Zach Arnett, the defensive coordinator, to head
Rest in
coach, and
peace.
it did not go well. Yes,
No.
rest in peace, Coach Leach. And then with
And
the Zach
I gotta
Arnett
say
era did
this.
not
Speaking
go
of
well.
Mike
He
Leach,
got fired after
speak,
1
yeah,
year.
yeah. Speaking of Mike Leach, I gotta say this. It's an absolute travesty if he's not in any football Hall of Fame.
I know
I
he
know he
deserves
didn't
it.
win
Yeah.
national titles. He didn't win any national titles. He did. I think he might won a couple of conference titles.
Yeah, he
But
didn't
just
have
the
the
innovation,
600 win percentage. Yeah.
he was one game shy, and he would have got that in the bowl game. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
I
he
mean they
died.
won. I
But
mean his team, but his team actually won the bowl game. So maybe you should get so maybe he should get credit for that because I mean it was his team.
his team.
So yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Yeah, Mike Leach. Yeah, he didn't win national championships as a coach. He didn't win a bunch of conference titles. But think of these names: Josh Heupel, Cliff Kingsbury, Lincoln Riley,
Yep.
Sonny Dykes. I think heck, it wasn't Art Briles a disciple of Mike
Yeah.
Leach?
Yeah.
Art Briles. All these
It's
modern offensive geniuses you think
quite,
of,
got quite
they
a
all came
tree.
from Mike
Yep.
Leach. I mean,
Yep.
I would
He's
put
got
Mike
quite a
Leach's coaching
tree.
tree. I would argue, call me crazy, I would argue that Mike Leach's coaching tree might be better than Saban's. Because Saban, yeah, he's got the 1-star pupil in Kirby, but outside of Kirby, what has
Yeah.
his disciples really done?
Not much.
I know
No.
people say Lane Kiffin. Listen, Lane Kiffin went there as a rehab project, and so
Yeah.
did Sark. So I'm talking like guys that came up through Saban's system, like coming up. Not they were a head coach, they got fired somewhere, they went and got rehabbed at Alabama or LSU or at the Dolphins. No, I'm talking actually came up. There's only been one guy I've seen that's had great success, and that's Kirby Smart. That's it.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, but I still think this is a win. What
Yeah,
about you?
yeah. I think, as a matter of fact, I think that's our homecoming game.
Yeah, as far as HC. Yep. So yeah, on homecoming. Okay. Anyway, so up next, you are at the
UGA.
you're at my Georgia Bulldogs. That's right.
I'll say this: I've already got this, marked this our one loss on the year, because until I see Tennessee actually beat Georgia, I cannot pick us to beat Georgia
Yeah.
until I see us do it.
Yeah. We've
Like, I
had
didn't pick us to
your
beat
number.
Alabama. I didn't pick Tennessee to beat Alabama until after 2022, because I was like, I got to see us do it first. So we had some close calls a few times playing Alabama, but they always pulled it out. So I'll say this: I think that's going to be one of the best games all year. I think that game has the potential to be a knockdown, drag out, heavyweight brawl,
Yep.
because you're going to have in my opinion, two great D lines going at it.
Yep.
You're going to have James Pierce, just eating that day. I think you're going to see a guy like Arian Carter doing well. I got a feeling in that game points are going to be at a premium, but because of what the respect I have for Georgia, and it's in Athens, I got to give it to Georgia for now. Now, don't get me wrong. For all we know, knowing how it's gone the last 5-6 years, they might beat us by 30. I don't know.
Yep. 7 years. Yep.
Yeah. So, and with Georgia, my questions are: does Carson Beck have that safety blanket that he had with Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers now that both those guys are gone?
Well, he's got Oscar
He's got
Delp,
that.
so
He's got. Yeah,
Oscar
and don't
Delp.
get me wrong. Oscar
Got
Delp is
Dominic Lovett, so
Ra Thomas, and
Kobe
that.
Young.
Yeah, what's his name? Cole. Yeah, the white kid from Vanderbilt that transferred in.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was London. Yeah, London Humphreys. Yeah,
I think he could be really good. But I think y'all will probably have the best offensive line in the SEC.
yep.
Defensive line is kind of a question for me for Georgia. I'm not worried about your back end. Your back end is going to be fine. Your linebacker is going to be fine. It's mainly, can Georgia have more success this year getting to the quarterback? I think this game could possibly be the game of the year. I think this will
Yeah,
be the closest that Heupel has gotten to beating Georgia. But out of respect, I got to give that one to Georgia. But I think it's a close one. I could see that one being like a 24-17, a 17-14 kind of game, like where points are at a
right.
premium.
Right. Well, points are probably going to be at a premium for you, but yeah.
Well, I think it will be for both teams.
All right. Anyway, so we both have that as a win. Up next, you got UTEP. Yeah, you should just
We'll win
absolutely
that.
obliterate them. And then Vandy, same thing. You'll just
We'll win that.
completely annihilate them. Yeah, yeah. Vandy's just absolutely horrible. So
Right.
yeah, Vandy will probably go winless in the SEC again. So
And now here's the thing: if Tennessee's 11-1, and
mhm.
say, because here's a scenario for you. There's actually a scenario now. I don't think this is going to happen, but you could have 3 undefeated SEC teams: Texas,
Wow,
Tennessee, LSU. Now they're not. I don't think they're going to go undefeated. None of them.
LSU.
Well, I'm just saying because they don't play each other.
Yes, I know, but they do play other teams though.
Right. Their schedules are actually pretty identical,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm just saying, like, in that scenario, who do you put in the SEC championship to probably play Georgia?
Yeah, that'll be tough. Seeing maybe Ole Miss or Texas, or Tennessee. Yeah, yes, if y'all are 11-1, yes.
But at the same time, at that point, I pretty much kind of locked myself into the 12-team playoff. I'm not really caring if I play for that SEC championship.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there'll be yeah, yeah, that would leave a lot of might be a lot of tiebreakers to have to try to untangle. So
Yeah, it's just
anyway,
they don't play each other,
all
so
right,
there's not like, yeah. So I've
all
got
right.
Tennessee at 11-1
The
with
one
their one
with
loss at
being
Georgia,
Georgia. Yep, and then I've
and you
got
got 10-2
and then I've got you going 10-2 with losses
at
at
Oklahoma
Oklahoma and at Georgia.
and at
So
Georgia.
yep.
And I'll say this: Tennessee's toss-ups, obviously, at Oklahoma. I would say probably Alabama at home. Those are your toss-ups.
Uh-huh.
You're guaranteed for sure wins or UTC, Kent State, UTEP, Vandy, Mississippi State. Uh, you got
Yeah,
about
I think that's about
6 or
it. Yeah.
7 guaranteed wins. You've got
Yep.
about a couple of, like, let's just say a few likely wins, and then
Yes,
a couple
like
of toss-ups
Florida.
and one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida is a
Like
likely
Florida
win.
or yeah, likely
Uh,
win. But yeah. Yeah, so is Kentucky. Yeah.
no, I will. Yeah, Kentucky, I put likely win. Uh, and then your toss-ups, in my opinion, that for now are at Oklahoma and Alabama at home. And then your
Yep.
one for sure loss, but I think it's a close one, is at Georgia.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So anyway, so that looks like
Man, we
that'll be
timed
it.
this perfect.
Yep, about 1 hour. Yep. All right. So anyway, uh, yeah. So you have a YouTube channel, TriStar, you want to tell the people about, or?
I do have a YouTube channel. It's the same name, TriStar. But I
Mhm.
unfortunately, because of me being on the road and things going on in the personal life, I don't get to post much stuff because it's hard to do
Okay.
when you're in a truck.
Uh
So
huh.
most of my stuff is on Twitter. Just look up TriStar TN and I'll pop right up. I'm at about 2,000 followers. So
Wow. All right, y'all.
you
Yes, y'all
should.
make sure y'all follow TriStar on Twitter. But anyway, so yes, we are going to end it here. So, but anyway, so let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Give me your record prediction for Tennessee, and thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all again next time.